In a stunning rebuke of presidential power, a federal judge has just ordered the complete shutdown of one of the most controversial immigration detention centers in recent memory. But here's where it gets controversial. This isn't just a story about immigration policy. It's a landmark case where environmental protection has directly clashed with national security agendas. Late Thursday, U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams in Miami delivered a sweeping ruling that forces the closure of the Trump administration's facility, nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz, within the next 60 days. The order explicitly prohibits bringing any new detainees to the site while the shutdown process is underway. This decisive action builds upon a temporary restraining order the same judge implemented 2 weeks earlier, which had already halted further construction at the remote tent camp. The facility has faced intense scrutiny and widespread condemnation from multiple fronts. Critics have documented concerning patterns of harsh living conditions, alleged abuse of detainees, and what appears to be systematic denial of due process rights for individuals awaiting deportation proceedings. And this is the part most people miss. The judge's 82-page ruling, officially published in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida on Friday. Grounded the closure not only in human rights concerns, but primarily in environmental protection laws. Judge Williams determined that the detention camp was in. Since that time, Williams wrote, every Florida governor, every Florida senator, and countless local and national political figures, including presidents, have publicly pledged their unequivocal support for the restoration, conservation, and protection of the Everglades. She framed her ruling as simply upholding existing legislation designed to fulfill these long-standing promises. The court order mandates that no further construction can occur at the site and prohibits any increase beyond the approximately 700 detainees currently held there. Following the 60-day period, all construction materials, fencing, generators, and fixtures that transformed the location into a detention camp must be completely removed. This decision represents a monumental victory for a coalition of environmental organizations and a Native American tribe who jointly sued both the state of Florida and the federal government. Williams agreed with their central argument that the hasty 8-day construction of the jail at a disused airfield in late June had damaged sensitive wetlands within a national preserve and further endangered federally protected species. Eve Samples, executive director of Friends of the Everglades, one of the plaintiff groups, celebrated the ruling. This is a landmark victory for the Everglades and countless Americans who believe this imperiled wilderness should be protected, not exploited. It sends a clear message that environmental laws must be respected by leaders at the highest levels of our government, and there are consequences for ignoring them. The Alliance plans to hold a detailed press conference Friday morning to discuss the implications of their legal victory. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. This ruling delivers a significant blow to the Trump administration's detention and deportation priorities. The president had personally championed the camp, which recently held as many as 1,400 detainees, describing it as a necessary facility for housing some of the most vicious people on the planet. However, and this is critically important, hundreds of those detained at Alligator Alcatraz had no criminal record or active criminal proceedings against them, raising serious questions about the administration's characterization of the population. At the time of the ruling, there was no immediate reaction from the Florida Department of Emergency Management, which operates the jail on behalf of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or from the Department of Homeland Security. However, lawyers for the state had previously told Judge Williams they would appeal any adverse ruling, according to reports from the Miami Herald. In what appears to be anticipation of the closure order, hundreds of detainees were already moved from Alligator Alcatraz to other immigration facilities over the weekend. Meanwhile, Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis had announced earlier this month that the state plans to open a second immigration detention facility at a disused prison near Gainesville to increase capacity, suggesting the political battle over immigration detention is far from over. So what do you think? Was this primarily a victory for environmental protection, or did it inadvertently score points for immigration activists? Can the government balance national security interests with environmental conservation, or are these priorities fundamentally at odds? We're genuinely curious to hear your perspective. Share your thoughts in the comments below.